You're not peeking?
I'm pregnant, I know you are.
I'm shaking right now. Look at my heart rate too.
You're pregnant? No way!
Okay, when should I be concerned about how my symptoms could affect, like, a baby? My numbers are I've been trying to follow some breathing exercises just from YouTube and stuff. I took Lucy for a walk this morning and just tried to get my body moving. I don't know if it's possible to have certain food cravings yet, but I've never made this before. It's butternut squash soup with green beans in it, and it's so good. Hello friends, this is just a week 6 update. So this has been quite an eventful week. Basically all of week 5 I was very just had morning sickness. I haven't gone for my first ultrasound yet, but that's scheduled on Tuesday, just a day shy of my 7 weeks that we think. Yeah, so I've just had so much on my mind, and so I just feel like I really need to do this vlog. Tuesday, we announced that we told Chris's parents that we were pregnant, and Chris's stepdad was like having some cold symptoms actually, like on Sunday even, when they had like a party, kind of like an early birthday party for me. We saw them Tuesday. We hung out at their house for like a few hours, and his stepdad Dennis was like, hey, I'm gonna just like go outside and like run some errands while you're here, and we talked to his mom mostly. Fast forward the next day to Wednesday, we were like getting ready to pack and everything because we were supposed to be flying out the next morning. I had like crazy morning sickness, and I was just like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to like handle this trip. I came home, I took a nap, I woke up from the nap, and then I see text messages from Chris and his parents, and they were like, we tested positive for COVID. And I was like, oh no, like, and they're fully vaccinated. They were like one of the first people to get vaccinated. I know I'm supposed to be very careful in my first trimester. They say like you want to make sure you don't get the flu or you don't want to get COVID in your first trimester because it's very risky for like the neural tube of the baby's like spine into the brain is forming. I guess I just should have been more careful, so now I'm just like ridden with anxiety. We canceled our entire trip too. We called my friends and everything, and I canceled the whole trip. I was like, better to be safe than sorry, but we were exposed to confirmed cases for an extended period of time indoors. So the next day was my birthday. I woke up just like morning sickness. I even was like, oh, it's my birthday. But then the morning sickness started to fade in the middle of the day, and then I started to get a cough and like aches and pains and like chills. I started to get chills. So yeah, so I was like, oh shoot, I'm starting to get symptoms. And so I took an over-the-counter COVID test. It came back negative. Friday, I had like flu symptoms galore. So I was like really scared. So I called my OB and I was like, okay, when should I be concerned about how my symptoms could affect like a baby? And they're like, yeah, you want to keep your temperature low, because I was running a fever and and a cough, a lot of congestion, like chest pain, and yeah, so I've just been trying to like monitor my symptoms. I also went to our team care at Universal. I took a COVID test and flu test from there. Both were negative as well. And the results are still out on the PCR, so they had me do a PCR test as well. In good news, I'm so happy that as soon as the flu symptoms started, my like nausea, morning sickness symptoms kind of like lowered a little bit. I wasn't really nauseous this morning when I woke up, but I still tried to get food in my system. The nausea seems to start more in the evening now. And last night, Chris went out to go get us like my favorite Mexican food, and I had no idea how much onions are in everything. Like, and that's probably why I liked it so much before, is because I love flavor and onions and everything, garlic, I don't know, everything, peppers. And this dish, I could barely stomach it. So I'm probably gonna have Chris eat the rest of it. And according to my Fitbit, I've been getting like fair sleep. I haven't been getting good sleep. So I know my immune system is down. I know I haven't, because of the nausea, I haven't been getting a lot of nutrition. Yeah, other than that, you know, week 6, man. The colds, not the flu or COVID, hopefully, you know, morning sickness. All on my birthday week. Yay. Just can't wait to see what comes up on the ultrasound on Tuesday. But in the meantime, I'm just going to try to get my symptoms under control. All right, well, Chris is out getting me some meds, some zinc, some vitamin C. I'm trying to lay in the sun on our patio to get some vitamin D in my system. And it actually feels good to kind of sweat a little bit. It's kind of hot out. Please say a prayer for us that everything is well with the baby, 100% healthy, that we have a safe pregnancy, that everything goes well. So, yeah.
You see, this is the baby. Every time you breathe in, this little speck here. So this whole thing is your uterus.
Okay.
That's the water bag. This little peanut is the, and you see the movement? That's a heartbeat.
I can barely,
I know. I think we can see it better if we did a vaginal one, but that does require a vaginal probe, which we don't have to do because I can still see it.
Yeah.
It is day 1 of week 9. This morning last night we went to a Halloween party, and it's just, I feel like I'm feeling it today. Just, my skin looks great, you know, but like, oh my gosh, I woke up, I felt, you know, kind of rested and ate some cereal. I'm still battling morning sickness. It's been like 3 weeks now. And morning sickness is like all day, like acid reflux and nausea. But now, like, the congestion from COVID is more intense. Like, I don't know, just this morning I was coughing so much. It's a nice day outside, like it's only 61 degrees, and I took Lucy for a walk this morning and just tried to get my body moving. My digestive system has been so messed up. I'm getting like really intense headaches, and I think it's like pressure in my gut and pressure and bloating going on in my entire GI tract. My COVID symptoms, my chest congestion and shortness of breath are still there, and I just feel like some days I'm in survival mode more than others. But I feel like on the outside, like when I look at myself in a mirror and like even here, I'm like, oh, I feel like I just look like a normal day with no makeup on or anything. But it's, my insides are just, my stomach, GI, everything with pregnancy has been taking a hit with the morning sickness and hormone levels. And then with COVID, it's really, it's just been really intense, like with trying to get enough oxygen. I did walk earlier, and let's see if I can see, I'm still like so congested. But I took like a walk earlier, and I got 19 zone minutes. Like, so that was like 19 minutes of that walk were like I already got a workout. And I was walking Lucy just so slow. So that's like, hopefully gives you an idea of how out of shape my lungs are and my lung capacity. And it is currently 9 weeks and 3 days, and this morning I haven't been too nauseous. I'm so grateful. I literally have prayed to God so many times, like, Lord, please get rid of my nausea so I could function like a human. But I wanted to show you like my go-to snack, my go-to thing that I found finally after like 3 weeks of trial and error. This is just something that's carby. I eat this first thing in the morning when I wake up to get something in my stomach, because that's when I get the most queasy. Here we go. So it's just a biscuit, like a Pillsbury Doughboy biscuit that I make in our Ninja Foodie. Sorry, I'm so congested. And then some peanut butter, and then we have some local jam from my hometown. I just make this like a little sandwich, and it's honestly perfect. It gets like protein in my system. Yeah, I love it. And also while I wait for that to cook, I snack on raspberries or blueberries. This is week 9.5.
Somebody's finally feeling better.
I'm feeling a little better, but as you can see, I'm still on my couch with Blanky.
Yeah, give me some warmth.
His hands are freezing because he sets the temperature to 68 degrees.
It's the only way one should sleep.
Oh, and Chris gets to go back to work tomorrow.
Been working.
He has been working. He's been doing real estate, but he gets to go back to Universal tomorrow. And he is, because he got to take his rapid test and it came back negative. This should mean that the baby might have some antibodies. We're hoping. But it might be too early because we don't know how long antibodies actually last yet. They could be gone by the time the baby comes. In other news, lots of HGTV home renovation shows. And we've been talking a lot about all of the things we want to do to the house before the baby comes. So, ew, she probably needs this washed. Anyway, signing off for now, but yes, it is time to relax. Hello? Chris got me this really good book. It was the Real Food Pregnancy book. And gosh, my lighting in here is so bad. One of the things in the book was like really talking about PFEs, I think. Basically like just really talking about non-stick cookware. I've always burned stuff in a stainless steel pan. So even cast iron too. Out of health reasons for the baby and trying to avoid those things that get into our food. And it's actually a higher amount of, you know, this chemical that Teflon uses that I didn't even, I mean, I knew about it. I knew it wasn't really good to use, but I guess I just didn't really know the amount of toxins that get into your system. And even if you're not pregnant, I guess that this is been also traced back to being causes of cancer. So I'm really trying to cook with a stainless steel pan, and I'm actually pretty happy because I found some hacks online and I didn't burn anything, or it's not sticking. So yeah, just trying to make some eggs because I know they're high in folate, and I know that I should just be eating this type of food, even though kind of the smell of it, my sense of smell is coming back, and it's not the most appetizing thing at the moment, but we're trying. We're gonna attempt this. Okay. The cold crunchiness of the tomato makes it more satisfying. And also, I had to put salt on it. Like, I've been just wanting everything salty. Might not be so into the bread. I've been eating nothing but bread, I feel like, lately. And carbs to settle the nausea. Because I have been vomiting. I actually went to the doctor yesterday, my regular physician, for a COVID follow-up. They still want to hear opinions from my OB about my shortness of breath and my cough. But basically, when I weighed myself there, I lost 2 pounds, which is crazy because I feel like I've been eating like crazy, just eating nonstop, just to keep the nausea at bay. Good morning from Miami Beach. It is week 10. Last night, Chris and I and Lucy, she wants to play with that little dog over there. We drove down here because we have a storm that just passed through, and Chris just really wanted to chase some surf. I wasn't really feeling too good, but I really needed to get out of the house because I've been sick, both with COVID and pregnancy stuff, so it was very much needed. But it feels so amazing to just be at the beach right now. Lucy is having the time of her life. Oh my gosh! Just running in the sand. pushing through. I was pretty nauseous last night. I cried in the car, just broke down with being so exhausted from being in the car for 7 hours. We drove down to Miami Beach, and I tell you, if you ever come to Miami Beach, South Beach particularly, and think that you're just gonna park and get out of the car and go to the beach, you're very, very heavily mistaken. We also have unusually like high surf down here right now, so I gave Chris the heads up. You know, it is very hard to find parking in South Beach, and we never found a parking spot after like 3 hours of looking. So we called it quits. We said that was just a recon day, and we went to the hotel, checked in, got some pub subs, and relaxed and went to sleep early. So yeah, but it's so beautiful. The sun is coming out. And I need some vitamin D, so here we are. It is week 11, and as you can tell, I'm getting more life in me. I still sound a little sick, I think, in my voice. But yeah, today I actually did some makeup, like light makeup, but let's see, today is Wednesday. I'm 11 weeks and 2 days. I've been still wearing like C-bands, like these things. And I will say, actually, I started wearing these again like yesterday, 2 days ago. And I was able to actually go out and like run errands, and I wasn't like reaching for a snack like literally every like 30 minutes, which is normally like how often I need a snack, but to just like keep my stomach sort of like full or like something in my stomach to digest. But there's some new symptoms, like I'm feeling faint and dizzy. I've been out of dance now for like a month, and other than like I am shortness of breath because I know like COVID just messed up my lungs and like did, you know, probably left its traces with like all of my lung capacity and my breathing. It does become harder for me to breathe like when I'm talking a lot like this. And my OB, she was like, you know, we were there on Friday, and she's like, you know, shortness of breath and feeling faint and dizzy, could that be pregnancy or could it be COVID? It probably is a little bit of both, she said. So I just have to kind of like roll with the punches right now, but I am supposed to be returning to dance. Hopefully, like I have one more follow-up with my doctor tomorrow, my primary, and he wanted to see the notes from my OB about like the safety with being pregnant and like the dizziness and fainting, like dizzy spells and stuff, and if she approved me to dance. So he's going to be the official one that's like, okay, you're approved to go back to dancing. And it seems like they're both on the same page with being like, you know what, go into your rehearsal, try it, see like how you do, and then just have an open communication. Like if you need to, you know, take off again, then so be it. But like they're just concerned not only for me but also the baby. So I'm just really happy that my doctors are communicating between each other and making these decisions together, and like I do feel like they have my best interest in mind. But yeah, so in the meantime today I've been distracting myself. Yesterday Chris and we got some stuff to make a headboard, so I'm gonna be finishing that today. I do think I have to go back out and get some more fabric and like the cushioning that goes underneath of the fabric. So yeah, I have energy. I'm doing a lot better. I'm able to eat a little bit more. My last visit to the OB, I did lose 2 pounds from my previous visit, which was like 3 weeks before that, I think. So yeah, I mean, but they told me it's common for people to lose weight in the first trimester, just because of like nausea and throwing up often. So yeah, that's where we are, but I feel confident that this is going to be gone soon, like the nausea. No one ever told me about like when you get pregnant that nausea and vomiting can go on for like some people are telling me they've had nausea and vomiting their entire pregnancy, but like, I mean, within my family, a lot of other women are kind of around like 14 or 15 weeks is when the nausea and vomiting goes away entirely. So I'm just like hoping it goes away before that. But if that's the case, I still have about 3 weeks to go. But this is just like first trimester. So yeah, this week 11, I've got like another week and a half to go, and I'm just hoping that with these like C-bands that I can make it through my days better and just be on the up and up from here. So yeah. So I'm literally in my last day of week 12, and I didn't want to risk like not, you know, documenting something for how I've been feeling this week. So this week has been a lot better. What did I do? So it's Thanksgiving week actually, and I'm thankful I got my appetite back a little bit. I'm still out of breath, as you can tell. I haven't been doing anything either. I've just been like, I had a little bit of coffee too. Like I was able to stomach some coffee, no dairy. On Monday, which was day 1 of week 12, I was like so sick. Like it was like back to level 8, probably 8 out of 10 nausea, and I just was like, what's happening? Because I cannot take this another week longer of the nausea, at least to this level, you know. And when I say like level 8, 9, that's like all day I am like pushing, like the vomit is like coming up all day, and I feel it, and I keep choking it down and swallowing it, and it's a battle. So that was more so like what I was going through every day, probably between weeks like 6, 7, 8, 9, even into week 10 a little bit. But honestly, like week 11 was great. I didn't have like, I felt like my nausea was starting to go away. So yeah, basically like Monday I was really nauseous. Tuesday it was fine, like it went away. I was able to just like be home. Luckily on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which was Thanksgiving, I was able to eat. Like I didn't have any turkey. I still can't stomach meat. But then I did have, no lies, I did have a little bit of turkey, but I couldn't really stomach anything like really, really sweet. Like I didn't have any like candied yams or anything like that. I did make lemon cookies for dessert because I knew that I was gonna want something lemony or something like a refreshing dessert. And like really cold water helps my stomach the most. And then so Friday and Saturday I did dance and work, and I was doing okay throughout the day. I just like really packed my lunch so that I was super prepared with like snacking, like just snacking throughout the day and keeping my body, like my energy stable, my stomach like always digesting something. Last night, I don't know what happened though, which was Saturday. I kind of fell asleep on the couch and I didn't take my Unisalma B6 around like the 8 o'clock mark, which I normally do. But I woke up and I was just like so nauseous. I had a little bit of cheese pizza last night for dinner around like 6 o'clock. And then I fell asleep on the couch. I woke up around like 9 or 10 and I was very nauseous, but I was like, let me just have some grits, like just really simple. I didn't put anything in them, just a little bit of honey actually. And then I took my B6. I took about 25 milligrams of B6. I've been finding that the B6 is actually very aggressive on my stomach. And it does say you want to take it with food, but that's why I took it with grits. And it was like not enough, because then the chemical-y flavor of the B6 kept coming up of the tablet, and I couldn't lay back down to go to sleep. And I was like burping up a lot of like, it was like a burpy throw up. I felt it coming up and then going down and coming up and going down, and I would just burp a lot. So I was like, okay, my body wants to throw up, but I was like feeling gross. So I went to go brush my teeth, and then of course when I brushed my teeth and brushed my tongue, I threw up, and it was aggressive. Like it was very chemically and burny, and that was all of the B6, the tablet that I took. So I think at this point, tomorrow is week 13. We're officially exiting the first trimester, and this has been such like a journey. I've cried out of frustration. I've cried out of joy of like finally finding something that was going to settle my stomach for at least like an hour or two. And when I say settle my stomach, that's just getting past the constant like eruption feeling of it coming out and up. So when I say I'm always nauseous and I want to throw up, it was like I constantly feel like I'm right here, like it's gonna come out. And living with that 24/7 and living with that all day from like morning to night, it was very tough. I still haven't like wanted to put on any tight clothes. I do still have a little bit of my cough and congestion and shortness of breath from COVID. My OB has said, you know, like the coughing is mostly COVID. The shortness of breath could be a little bit of COVID and pregnancy. Fatigue, same thing. Nausea, same thing actually, because I didn't know this, but yeah, nausea and vomiting is a symptom of COVID. Not a very popular one, but could be. So just layering all those things together has been really rough. But I'm officially exiting my first trimester tomorrow, and I think I'm gonna really try not to have any of the B6 tablets anymore. No more. I do have like a B6 Mio. So I have like these little Mio vitamins, and they have, I don't know if you can see, but they do have just a tiny little bit of B6, and I mean like tiny. And then also, I'm not taking a crazy fancy like prenatal, but I just got these by Nature Made, and they do have 95% of your daily recommended dosage of vitamin B6, which is actually only 1.9 milligrams. So it's very reasonable to imagine how a 25 milligram dose of B6 is very aggressive on your stomach. So I don't know. Now that I'm realizing it, you know, maybe these B6 tablets were just like contributing to my nausea the whole time. But yeah, I just kept hearing that B6 was great for reducing nausea. So yeah, here we are exiting first trimester. No more COVID. I have antibodies now. I got monoclonal antibody injections. There's also an infusion option out there, I guess, but the monoclonal antibody site near me was offering the injections, the shots, which are 4 shots, 1 in each arm, 2 in the abdomen. I also went for like pregnancy checkups after that because I was concerned about like baby safety with having shots directly into my abdomen, so close to the, you know, uterus and the baby, and everything checked out fine. So that's just my experience though. I'm not a candidate for a COVID vaccine nor a flu shot until mid-January. Mid-January. But I'm protected naturally right now, and this is when my antibodies are the highest, so I'm not too worried. What else? I'm not protected against the flu though, so that makes me a little nervous because we are in flu season. But I've just been wearing my mask. Even though I have natural antibodies, I personally believed that I just would wear a mask. Sorry, I'm running out of breath. There is evidence now though that whether you're vaccinated or whether you are non-vaccinated, you can still spread the virus. But anyway, that's just my spiel. This is just my story, and this is just my experience. But baby is doing well so far, and going into my second trimester, I have to say I'm definitely a little nervous. With like, I think I'll find a lot of relief once I go to the anatomy scan at 20 weeks to see how all of the baby's organs and features and everything have developed, because having COVID in my first trimester, it was very hard to find research on, I'm sorry, Lou. It was very hard to find evidence or research on like how COVID can affect your baby at such a developmental stage in your pregnancy when everything is developing. and if there could be any birth defects due to having COVID while being in your first trimester. So yeah, that's the only thing I'm a little worried about still, but all right, so this is a very long first trimester vlog, but I hope this was informational just with the angle of having COVID along with being in my first trimester. To summarize, I got COVID in my 6th week of pregnancy, and I was deemed non-infectious around my 8.5 week mark. During your 6 to 8 weeks, there's a lot of developmental things happening with your embryo, with your fetus of the baby. So going forward, I am just a little nervous. I still have some anxiety to see if COVID causes any birth defects. I don't know. But so far, baby's heart rate is well and strong, and so far what we've seen is everything's doing well so far. That's about it. Yes, I am signing off. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you'll stick around to continue to see this journey as I document this pregnancy and how everything turns out. So, all right.